Hey there, good people. Patricia here. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Christmas in July mentality. Do you have that? Where you're like, oh, yes, it's the holidays. And when it's Christmas in July, it means you're getting to celebrate the holidays mid-year, and normally it's very commercial. It's just an opportunity for people to get you to spend money ahead of time and make you feel like you're celebrating and doing things early and all that kind of good stuff. But let's talk about the real thing, right? Because I am gonna dare say and have this not so nice point of view. I'm sure someone will take issue with it, that the summertime is basically the last 2 weeks of December, whether holidays, regarding whether you celebrate Christmas itself or not. But basically, the last 2 weeks of December, people in the U.S. primarily take off, and it's all about the holidays and celebrating and being with family and all that kind of stuff. But let's spread that over the whole summer. So for us in the US, it's June to August if you're doing the traditional one. Pick your 3 months. Pick your 3 months. And what does that mean? It's like, well, when it comes to certain things professionally and personally, not a lot happens. And I'm going to talk a little bit about here why that's not such a good thing if you are really looking to move forward in your career professionally, or looking to really dig deep on some personal growth goals, and what that looks like and how you can manage that in a better way. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. So, before we get started, please, please, please don't forget to hit the like and thumbs up button and to subscribe to this channel as we continue to build it up and share it out with others who would enjoy these conversations. Okay, so here's where this comes up. Every year, I always, in the holiday time period, there's this time frame of where things break down. Now, mind you, once I started going out on my own and wasn't working for someone else, like that's kind of disappears. Like you have to create it for yourself. So when you're working on your own, like there are boundaries you do have to learn to set for yourself. But it doesn't mean that those boundaries, as far as giving yourself time off, taking a break, they don't have to look like what everyone else is doing. And what I have seen down through the years is I've seen people who do that, right? Now, sometimes it's forced because, if you have kids in school, it forces the issue, you know, uh, different, if you work with a certain industry, it forces the issue. But dare I say that one of the folks I used to follow a lot, I don't follow as much anymore because I've stepped away from that high productivity mindset. But there was something to be said for a little piece of what he used to do, and it was Darren Hardy, and he talked about when everyone was taking the last 2 weeks or maybe even the whole month of December off and not building out their business or laying groundwork for their stuff uh, for January. He was always working. He was still working through and doing stuff. People were like, why are you doing that? Well, his mentality was when January came around and everyone came back starting to run around like a chicken with their head cut off, to have to try and get stuff done at the beginning of the year, like he wasn't having to do that because he had laid the groundwork forward by continuing to get things done in December. And that has stuck with me all of these years. Like I absolutely adopted that mindset. There were times I recall way back in the beginning, I used to get so much done during the holiday period at the end of the year. It was a little crazy. I remember writing an entire course. My first course that I ever wrote uh, was written over Thanksgiving, over a Thanksgiving weekend. And I remember it so vividly because we were visiting family in Houston at the time. And I literally was taking every breathing moment to keep working on it up until they're like, hey, we're ready to go to the movies. I'm like, okay, as I continue to type upstairs, finishing thoughts and things like that, and then going off. But like I just that took that to heart, right? And again, when you work for yourself or you work in an entrepreneurial space or whatever, like there are things when you work in a business and there are folks who the majority of their business is made during the holiday time period, right? So there are exceptions to all of this. But my point being, really, even if you're not an entrepreneur, if you are a working professional who's looking to get to the next level of your life and your career, or let's say you're like, I really need to make some changes and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Well, taking off that 3 or 4 weeks in December may not be beneficial, right? To making that happen because what's going to happen come January, everybody's going to be all up on the, oh, we got to get this done. I got to go find this job or I got to get to kick this off. Whereas if you started that or continued some level of effort through the time when people take it off, you kind of get a head start, right? You see how that works? Now, let's back that up to this whole December and summertime, Christmas in July mentality. When you take what people do in December and apply it to the middle of the summer or to summertime, it's the same thing, kind of in reverse, where literally, because let's say the US historically, kids are out of school during summer, that has shrunk. So it's still about, what that summertime is defined. Some businesses really slow down in the summertime. People are known to go take vacations, family vacations, some retreats or whatever, different things. But basically, things slow down in the summer. And as someone who has worked for themselves for the last 16 years, I cannot believe I'm saying that. But I have noticed that it was a lot of denial at first because when I was doing legislative work, there was a slowdown, but there was also kind of a buildup. So it kind of worked. But literally, when I start doing much more of the coaching and training or whatever, like people take it off unless you're planning some big huge retreat or something like that. Like no one expects to get a lot done between June and August from a business perspective. Now, again, there are exceptions. If you're launching something or you work for some huge corporate entity, but a lot of organizations in general, they try to get the majority of their works and decisions made by early June because they know between that, definitely during the months of July and August, it's going to be much harder. Now, as school starting back inches more into August as it has, I know, in our part of the world. Um, Again, the breaks, right? Don't worry so much about the months. Let's talk about the time frame. Whatever that is for you, are you planning as if like, well, no one's going to be around. They're not really listening. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go take some time for myself. If you need time for yourself, take the time for yourself. Don't use that as an excuse, though, that everyone else is not going to be doing anything, so I'm going to go do that. No, because what I have learned is when other people are slowing down and not engaging, it's also still a great time for you and me to dig a little deeper and go a little longer. Because my break and how I define it does not have to match what everyone else is doing. Like, this is not one of those opportunities or times when you need to follow the crowd. You shouldn't be following the crowd a lot, anyways, but in this case in particular, it's not to go with the assumption of, oh, there's not so much going on. And I want to challenge you to not take that mindset and instead to go against conventional wisdom and actually be deliberate about your growth over the summer months, whether it's to build up your skill level so that you can be prepared for that next job that you want to, that you are looking for or that you want to be looking for, whether you're like, I really have been wanting to work on some writing, and pursue, like, the summer is a great time to dig deeper on specific projects that are not motivated by someone who's paying you to get it done, right? That's why I said personal growth and professional growth. It's a great time to do that. Can you take your vacation? Absolutely. Can you also nudge things so that maybe your vacation doesn't align with all of these other things? You're not competing with the rest of the world about this vacation time thing, and maybe you shift it a little, right? And that is something, like, it's come to the forefront for me again because of course we're about to hit prime summer vacation time. Things are going to be slowing down, people are going to be going away, some of the meetings and things that I would normally be attending are not going to exist because people just aren't here. And instead of sulking about it, which I did for a few summers there, where I that it just drove me nuts, and I'm like, people will not commit. But I'm like, but guess what, I don't need a ton of people to commit to doing the work that they need to do to take care of themselves with them. I only need a handful. So it's like, if there are a handful of people out there who want to do the work when no one else is, let's go. I'm here for that. I'm here for that, and I'm here to support them. And so if I'm here for it, I need to make sure to let people know, guess what? You too can focus on doing deeper work, to doing work that you are otherwise, quote, too busy to do when everybody else is running around. Guess what? This is the prime time to go in. Go get the coaching, go get the training, go build the skills, go take the retreat that's not just, oh, I'm going to take a vacation, whatever, but like that's going to allow you to go deeper into reflection time, into reflective work, whatever that might mean and look like. I know that I still have several projects of my own. Some are a bane of my existence, but I literally realized the other day, I get a lot of thinking. You say you get a lot of thinking done when you like go walking out in nature or you take a shower. Mine is bath time, bubble baths, and a bright window looking up into the sky like does something to my brain, and it gets really really active. I'm like, I'm trying to chill. Why is my brain like going off? But in any case, literally working through a writing project that I have honestly been putting on hold and keep putting off. And I'm like, it is time to do something. I've also been very motivated from an experience of making sure we walk in purpose from that Kente ceremony that I went to a week or so ago. That was also very motivating to remind me to stay in purpose, to be deliberate about the activities that I engage in that will feed. And so that's one of those things that's been sitting there. And I'm like, well, if I break it down this way, that makes me be able to get through. And that's one. There's another business related one that's much more of a personal, it ties into business, but it's much more of a personal goal, to get some writing done, that will support that, but not solely for business purposes, and some other aspects of some business work that I want to focus in. It was like, this is the time to dial in. It doesn't mean I'm going to go crazy, like, and work myself up into a frenzy trying to do, no, but it's a matter of, hey, if I know that these certain things aren't going to be available, then let me use that time and space to be deliberate about something else. And that's what I want to offer to you. It's like, what is it? The questions for yourself. What is it that you need to create, that you've been needing to create time and space to be deliberate about, to be purposeful with. And the next 3 months, summer in the US will allow that. And if you need help figuring that out, hello, that's what I'm here for. That's what I do, right? To help people figure out what does that look like? How can I accomplish it? And how can I make that happen during this window? Because the reality is, it is possible. It is not, it is more than possible. It it can be it can happen. Right? Like, it's a matter of you putting yourself and your mind to it. And I like to lay these things out because this is not, me like, oh, you need to go do X, Y, and Z. No, this is a conversation for myself as well. The reminder that I'm like, I got to practice what I preach. So I'm laying out mine, and it will get done in the next week or so, where I lay out my plan of what it is I want to accomplish during this next uh, 3 months, this next quarter, so that I can lay out and honor it for myself. If I decide I need an accountability partner, I have a couple of people that I will reach out to and be like, hey, this is what I've decided I want to do during this time period. I need for you to check in with me or check in on me to make sure that I stay on track with it. So there's really no excuse. There's always something. Like, you can lay out the plan. That's always, engage in the reflection about what it is you think, right? And narrow it down to a couple of things, couple of options. And then how, in the best case scenario, how would you approach it? Right? That's identifying that plan. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What time are you going to reserve for this to happen? And then finally, making sure you have an accountability partner, accountability check-in person who will hold your feet to the fire to make sure that you get it done. All right, there we are. That's what I have to say about Christmas in July. You can go have a little fun and do all of those things, but like, the real Christmas in July for you will be if you give yourself the gift of achieving a goal that you've been let lie undeveloped, unnurtured for some time. Like, what if you actually feed it in the next few months? What can that be? Like, think about what a fantastic gift to yourself that can be. I love that. Okay, that's it for now. I want to encourage you to remember to celebrate who you are in all the ways, to remember that it is a source of power for yourself. So lean into it. It does not have to be big moments, it could be the tiniest things, but I want you to remember to celebrate who you are each and every day. And with that, we will check you later and see you in the next video. Take care.